Good morning, or afternoon, or perhaps even evening, depending on what time zone you are in. Welcome to the Virtual Investor Day, Day 2. I just want to thank everyone who's joining us here today on our second day of our inaugural Virtual Investor Day. We have had, to date, over 400 registrants, some fantastic participation from all our interested investors and our engaged audience. We have another great lineup today. We will be starting off in a few minutes with remarks from our major sponsor, Noble Capital Markets CEO, Nico Pronk. And then we're going to kick off things with BlackRock Gold, who have recently announced some exciting results at their Tonopah property in Nevada. We're going to follow that up with Jaguar Mining, a Brazilian gold producer that's hot on the comeback trend with 5 consecutive quarters of production growth and lowered costs. And this morning, they just announced a quarterly dividend and a share consolidation. This is very exciting news. Next, we have Regulus Resources, who will talk about their exciting Anticory copper project in Peru and their very important strategic next steps. Then we will hear from Comstock Mining, who's going to talk to you about their sustainable mining programs in the historic Comstock Lode District in Nevada. At the end of the day, to close things off, we will hear from the legendary Rick Rule, CEO of Sprott US Holdings. So before I turn it over to Nico, I just want to thank you for your participation. Please keep asking those questions. Please keep engaging with our issuers. We welcome and value your input and participation. It's what makes the VID conference different and a standout event. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Nico Pronk. Nico?
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you for your kind words and introduction here, and congratulations on a great event. And we're proud to be part of this inaugural event for your organization, and hope to do many more of these with you in the future to help expose these great companies to the investor audience on a global basis. And we appreciate the time here this morning to share some of our thoughts on the industry, how we see the world from a natural resource perspective, and also how investors that are dialed in viewing this presentation this morning and throughout the day can benefit from Noble's research and ideas in the natural resource sector. Let me start off with something that is not political at all. Please forgive me for bringing up Donald Trump right now, for those that are on the other side of the aisle. And again, this is not political at all. But I was looking for something that we might all have in common today on this front, and that's I think the fact that everybody on this call agrees with Donald Trump and likes gold. So that's some commonality that is hard to find these days. But we can at least share this with our global leader on that front, and I think the governments around the world, and not only the current governments, sitting governments, but the governments in, really over the last 2 decades, really have set the stage for the gold case, and not only gold but also the other precious metals. The looming, GDP to debt levels that we have experienced as of recent are of great concern, and I think really position the metals very well for the foreseeable future. On a lighter note, talking about natural resources, this is natural resources through the eyes of a 9-year-old. This girl won a national contest, putting this picture up or drawing this picture describing natural resources, and I thought it was quite cute. And share that with you this morning. But let's go to some more serious matters here, and that's how we as an organization have helped investors over the last 35 years identify investment opportunities in in this sector and other sectors that Noble covers with research. And it all starts with research from our perspective. We are a research-driven investment bank. We've been doing that for 30 years with highly qualified analysts that produce research reports that now you can find on ChannelCheck.com. You've seen that name advertised on the screens before, and ChannelCheck, along with Noble, is a sponsor of this event. ChannelCheck is our portal where we house all our investment research ideas, but also content that's related to the different industries that Noble covers. And our analysts take a bottoms-up approach, and we use that research along with the IR professionals of the respective companies that we cover to help communicate and articulate the company's value proposition to the investment community. Now, it's become harder and harder for companies of the size in the small and microcap world, really companies below $1 billion in market cap here in North America and Europe, to get noticed. And a lot of it has to do is that there are fewer companies like Noble around that would like to pick up research coverage at the earlier stage of a company's growth cycle. And we've seen a mass exodus of analysts, over the last decade or two, driven by regulation, driven by a flight to more liquidity, where analysts are covering more liquid names, and firms basically let analysts go that used to cover the small and micro cap space. We are doing the opposite. Noble has been dedicated since we started in 1984. Our analysts are passionate about small and micro cap companies. They like to be the first or second analyst to cover a name. And what you see here on the screen right now is a sample of some of the companies where Noble was the first analyst to cover a company. And with that research report, we drive liquidity into the names that we cover, positioning a company, especially in growth sectors or capital-intensive sectors like mining, to raise the necessary capital to execute on their business plans. So it all starts with analysts, and we're very proud and to have built an analyst team that's led by Michael Kopinski, our director of research, in the left bottom there. But today we're going to talk about natural resources. This is our natural resource analyst, Mark Reichman. The profile is similar to the other analysts at Noble. He is very experienced, has won several awards on the street. He spent 20 years with A.G. Edwards prior to joining Noble. And Mark, is covering a few of the names that have been presenting at the virtual conference here that you've been participating in. So how do you get the message out as a public company? Well, ChannelCheck is the answer to that for us. That's the new answer for us. We've had a traditional method of getting our research out to the institutional community. And that goes out through Bloomberg, Capital IQ, FactSet, Reuters, and so on. But since late 2018, we have transitioned our model to a company-sponsored model, allowing us to basically distribute our research for free at no cost to investors all over the world. And we're doing that through a proprietary portal called ChannelCheck that we launched simultaneous with that transition. This is a snapshot of ChannelCheck, and I encourage you all, after the conference or during the breaks, to take a peek at ChannelCheck. It's ChannelCheck without the last C before the K, ChannelCheck.com. And there's a wealth of information on 6,000 microcap companies, generally with market caps between $10 million and $2 billion. And again, we house our research there, our industry reports, and the audience that we're reaching out, with the ChannelCheck portal is different from our traditional institutional audience. We're making this product available again at no cost to anyone, to investors on a global basis. And the investor groups that we're targeting are the RIAs, or smaller money managers, all over the globe. There's over $44 trillion sitting in assets with that group. And then the other important group are the self-directed investors, investors that make their own investment decisions and that are looking historically for their investment ideas, on the internet, or to subscriptions to newsletters, or listening to Mad Money with Jim Cramer here in the United States. Whatever the source is, for the first time ever, these investors now have access to institutional quality research at no cost through ChannelCheck. The other two groups there on the screen are the family offices, the smaller family offices, and the independent brokers, financial advisors that have joined these independent broker-dealer platforms in large quantities over the last 2 decades. So it's been a very exciting journey for us since we launched this late 2018. We've onboarded over 50,000 investors to our platform, and we welcome all of you to take a look at what we've built, which is a great resource for you to make better investment decisions for your own portfolio, but also to generate new investment ideas in a very thoughtful and educational manner. So these are a couple of screenshots of what the research will look like on ChannelCheck. Ely Gold is one of the companies that we have covered for a while. One of our success stories on ChannelCheck. As you can see, these research reports here are archived. The only thing we ask our visitors to decide is to register with us again at no cost, to obtain the research reports and our proprietary video content that we produce. And it's as simple as you're providing an email address and a password to get access to the research and the video content. Showing some samples of mining companies that we have been covering for some time. Core Mining is one of them, and Comstock Mining is a recent addition to our stable of covered companies. And what you see on the screen right now is your Comstock Mining's presentation at our last conference in February of this year. That was the last face-to-face conference really that took place, other than the PDAC in Toronto. I think that was the very last large industry conference. But Comstock Mining's presentation is archived in our video library, among with another 100 videos of companies that presented at our conference. This is a recent addition to our video content library. So what we're doing since May of this year, we are interviewing, our analysts are interviewing the CEOs and CFOs of our covered companies about the latest developments within their companies. And we're also conducting series of virtual non-deal roadshows. Again, these events, that video content is accessible to everyone at no cost. All it needs is a user ID and password registration. This content, since we started to produce this a few months ago, has seen a tremendous uptake from the investor community. Of course, COVID had a lot to do with that. We've seen more than a doubling in traffic to ChannelCheck since the pandemic outbreak, and we really believe that the introduction of video content that help articulate the value proposition that these companies represent puts the investors in a better position to consider and analyze these investment opportunities. Well, we made the case for the precious metals pretty early on. The fourth quarter of last year, we became very constructive on the precious metals, and we actually organized and dedicated a section of our conference to the mining group, and we hosted a dinner there for all the presenting mining executives, and they were joined by a select group of institutional investors that listened to their presentations. And we've been pounding the table about the metals since then. That was even pre-COVID. What really set the stage for us is these alarming global debt numbers that are simply out of control, again, fueled by irresponsible fiscal policy, not just the last 10 years, but the last 20 years, with governments kicking the can down the road and not facing the reality. And we really believe that's setting the stage for gold and silver and other precious metals investors to hopefully pick the rewards of that. And we provide research, as I said, for the sector through ChannelCheck. I'm showing some examples right now of industry reports that our analyst has published on the sector. They're very educational. I encourage you all to take a peek and get a feel for what our opinion is about the sector. There's not enough time for us right now, other than to tell you that we are very bullish on the group right now. We believe the rally just started, and given the uncertainty out there in the marketplace right now, not only in the short term but also in the long term, having to deal with the debt overhang, and it's not just the federal debt. The overall debt to GDP during the third quarter of last year hit an all-time high of 322%, which is unheard of. That is really something that needs to be addressed and has been greatly ignored. And of course, it's further fueled right now by these extremely historically low interest rates that look pretty right now, because the debt service is still manageable. But if these interest rates start to go the other way, it could paint a not so good picture for the global financial world. So that really sets the stage for us to become very, very constructive on the metals. And with that, I'm signing out. I want to thank everyone for their attention this morning, and want to thank Joanne and the team there at VID for putting this event together and having us part of it.